Greetings ladies and gentlefish, and welcome to another video full of World of Tanks replays. This time they're all me playing, so adjust your expectations accordingly. And all of these games are going to involve some degree of, let's just say, I wasn't going to say mediocrity, but me displaying my non-unicumness. Let's put it that way. So we're kicking off here. It's a tier 10 match. I'm driving the Type 61, Japanese tier 9 medium tank. A tank I thoroughly dislike, but go figure. And we're here on Kharkov. There might be some weird guttural pronunciation going on there that I'm not hitting. Now, this game is going to be, well, more about, I don't want to say luck, but I'm going to make some mistakes. I'm going to get lucky here or there. I'm definitely going to make some mistakes. And, well, you can kind of tell at various points that I was fed up playing this tank. So anyway, this is not the best map for this tank. The Type 61, well, I've got a review on the way for it, but the tank has no armour. Or I might have already put a review up of this. At this point in time, I cannot actually remember. But anyway, no armour, not really. 10 degrees of gun depression, a potato thrower of a gun. So we've managed to put one shot so far into an object 140. We're just going to come around the corner here. Object 907 and T25 Pilot 1 are just dealing with a T44-100 and AMX-30, and then our Batchat comes around the corner and does not care in the slightest. And I'm just trying to get shots on someone here. The 907 isn't exactly helping. Take out the AMX-30, and then the Pilot takes out the T44. And next it's a Batchat 12T, and boom. Pity we didn't get the track there, but never mind. There's the four of us going after this Batchat, so I decide to break ranks and go somewhere else, as does the Pilot, because I don't think we really need 4 medium tanks to hunt down one light, although I guess I could be proven wrong. Coming around here, we know there's a T10 over to our left-hand side, and we put a shot into his backside. That brings us over 1200 damage done. One more shot to finish this fellow off, but someone beats me to it. And there's a Stridsvagn S1 over on our right hand side, as well as a clutch of medium tanks and whatnot over to our left. So I decided to go back to base because, well, the enemy team are overrunning our base, and I would like to give our peeps a bit of a hand. Come around the corner, spy a T34, and remember I said this was a bit of an unreliable potato thrower of a gun. That goes into the tracks, yippee. T34 is dead, however, so there is that. Scoreline is 8-6, however, the bad guys are in our base eating our cookies. This Pilot is sticking a little bit closely to me. It's not annoying per se, but I do think he's being a little optimistic, and, well, I wasn't trying to shoot him. I probably shouldn't have pulled the trigger there, but I was just trying to make this game move a little bit. So there's a shot into an ally, unfortunately. I apologise in chat because I'm not a complete scumbag and I didn't actually intend to do that. And then round the corner I find a T100 light LT who's flipped himself over, and I get a high damage roll of 440. This gun, of course, does 390 on average, and I'm able to take him out. And once again, we try and shoot someone in the side, and once again, the shot goes low into their tracks, and we're not rewarded with anything. Managed to get a shot into that VK's backside, however, and we're over 2,000 damage done now. 11-8 is the scoreline. And trying to see if I can do anything about this Pilot. Not really. VK, shot into the side. There we go. Take a hit from him as well, but it's not the end of the world. That becomes kill number 3. T25 Pilot now. Our Pilot is coming for him as well. We put a shot in for 419. Over 3,000 damage done now. And there's only 3 of them remaining. Our Pilot continues to harass this guy, and we pick up a kill. That just leaves a T54 and a mouse. So coming around to try and put some flanking shots into these guys. I feel I should point out, this is Uber Mouse, by the way. This is when they kind of, I guess, overbuffed the tank. 3,200 hit points, all of the armor, and a buffed gun. It was a bit of a raid boss. And you can see here, his side armor isn't angled that heavily, and that was a terrible shot from me. That was just bad play on my part. Shouldn't have pulled the trigger there. He isn't angled that much, and I'm going for the tracks to try and track the guy and possibly do some damage as well. But I'm just not doing anything. Side of the turret. Again, the angle I didn't think was too bad, but apparently that's not enough either. And this is the only guy left. The raid boss is still going, unfortunately. Yay! And then I load a heat round with the next one, because I am fed up of bouncing most of my shots on the sides of this guy. Side of the turret, there we go. So I'm scumbagging this up, and I make no apologies. At the time, I was just getting fed up with those daft bounces. Rear of the turret, there we go. APCR probably would have done the job there as well, but as I say, I was just fed up with these bounces. Can we pick up the kill? Yes, we can. 5 kills, there we go. Game is over, but not exactly a game that I played spectacularly well in. So, that Type 61 game then. Ace Tanker! Yay! 5 for effect. Fighter. That's the award for killing all the Chinese tanks? Is that the Chinese one? No, it can't be the Chinese one. Is it the Russian one? It's the award for killing all the tanks of some nation. It's either German, French, American, Russian, or... okay, that's German again. Whichever one it is. Bruiser, Defender, and a Leverschleios medal. Which is nice. Which you get for killing, in a medium tank, at least 2 enemy tanks that are 1 tier higher than you. So I was in a tier 9 medium tank, I killed a mouse, tier 10 heavy tank, and that T100 who very definitely didn't turn himself over, making him an easy kill, who of course is a tier 10 light tank. Finished second on our team, behind one of those T25 pro pilots. I probably shot that guy, because I shot both of them, I'm pretty sure. Whoops. 4,706 damage done, 5 kills, 1,337 base XP. Leet. And Necro, I'm so sorry for shooting you. And Piotrek 75, sorry about that. Wasn't intentional, just the way it goes sometimes. 20 shots fired, 20 hits, 16 pens for that damage count. 767 damage done to allies, whoopsies. Go figure. Made a small loss because we fired a couple of heat rounds there, and we're playing with a standard account. It was only a 5-minute match, thought I'd show you anyway. 88 base defense points, probably my most notable feature about that game. Wasn't expecting that to be an ace, but then again, I guess we did get 5 kills, which probably helps things along. And it did mean that I don't have to keep the Type 61, which was something I was incredibly grateful for. So there we go. Let's have a look at another game. Second match of the video then, I'm driving the KV-4 this time, so rather different machine, tier 8 Soviet heavy tank, and I do mean heavy. This is an all tier 8 game, every single tank is tier 8, and we are here on, what's the hell's the name of this map? Steppes. There we go. So, what are we gonna do? Well, it's an encounter match. And initially I'm thinking, well, let's drive down the 1 and 2 lines, because that's typically where the heavy tanks go to hang out. I didn't say they went there to survive, I just said they went there to hang out. What have we got? An IS-6, Super Pershing, oh ho 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 ho, 2 of them. Another IS-6, a Lerva, and a T-25 pilot all going this way. The pilot, I think, is being a little bit optimistic, but whatever. It does sound like a bad joke, doesn't it? A Super Pershing, an IS-6, and a Lerva walk into a bar. So what are we facing off against? We've got a Rheinmetall Borsig. We've got an IS-3. A Liberté. Sniped. With a Russian gun. Booyah for that accuracy. VK-101P over there as well. There's another VK over here too. Well, he sniped me back. I guess I can't really complain too much. Where did he actually hit me? Probably... yeah, he's got 230 pen. That's perfectly capable of going through the little mini turret on top. The little mini turret, by the way, is not actually a weak spot on the KV-4. I do have a review of this tank if you need to check it out. It's not actually a weak spot. It's as strong as the turret, but the turret is kind of a bit on the weak side, depending on how you look at it. So, anyway, we're pushing down here, apparently. I've put in 1 shot onto the Froggy. The Froggy's put 1 shot onto me. This sort of engagement is better for the AMX than it is for the KV-4 by virtue of him having gun depression, basically. My gun depression is deeply mediocre, his is not bad, neither of our guns are particularly fantastic. He also has the turret armor advantage. if we're going to be honest. Yeah, you see, and I'm just not making these shots work anymore. So, AT-15 behind me, that of course. Well, this match is before, it's not from the most recent patch, this is before they buffed the British tank destroyer line, so that AMX-15, good lord. What happens when you take an AT-15 and an AMX M449 and leave them in a room together for too long? That AT-15, sorry about that, is a very, very, very sad tank indeed. Nonetheless, right, we are pushing down here. However, we are 2 tanks down. We've lost that Lerva and we've lost the Super Pershing. Oh dear, we just need to lose one more tank, and that bad joke has just become a rather morbid joke. VK over here, but let's try and ignore him if we possibly can, because that guy has all of the armour unless you have the opportunity to shoot him in the lower front plate. Instead, can we shoot any of these fellas in the side? Not so much. Well, there's artillery at least, giving us a hand. There's the aforementioned VK. I managed to take his tracks off. Oh yes, that's awesome. Take an artillery shell, which is slightly unfortunate there. Trying to see what I can do. Pick out the Commander's Cupola. No. Track the VK in place. You see, I'm trying to go through the tracks and do damage to these guys, but it's a VK 101p. That one does not simply shoot a VK and expect to do damage. That's silly of me. Sounds like the Borsig is using the big gun, which is actually kind of nice for me, because it means his penetration is a bit less. Unless, of course, he's firing premium ammunition, in which case, well, it's tough for me, really. Trying to get a shot into that lower front plate. There we go. If you can sneak shots into that lower front plate, your life becomes a lot better. And has anyone looked at the scoreline recently? It's 1-6, and my commander just got knocked out, and I took another hit to the face. Oh, where was that shot? It's in the little mini turret again. 180 armor, flat as a pancake. It doesn't really take too much effort for people to put shots straight through you. Wiggling my turret like a pro, and we managed to bounce the AMX in next round. Trying to pick out the lower front plate on that VK again. No dice. Going for that shoulder plate. No joy. I should have learned from when I was taking those things on in the tier 10 pattern and bouncing on that shoulder plate, but apparently I haven't. AMX has just been taken down by an IS-6 of all things. And this VK is suddenly not looking quite so clever. We managed to put a shot into his commander's hatch. He bounces on me, and we're up to almost 3,000 damage blocked by our armour at this point, by the way. Say what you will about the KV-4, it does have armour. And the turret cheeks, well, okay, so I should confess, I fired one round of APCR there with like 290 pen, because I was getting bored of fighting that VK, and we were being capped, and we were hideously outnumbered, and we need to get a wiggle on and go over to that capture circle, which is why you could argue I shouldn't have bothered going down this line in the first place in a tank as slow as the KV-4, but nuts to it, I did. So, Nurnicky Nurner. We've only done 1,400 damage so far, but we've also got 1,000 assistance, and 2.9k blocked by our armour, which is none too shabby, however you look at it. Given that we only come in at 1,700 hit points, which is still a lot for a tier 8. I just mean we've managed to block more damage than we have hit points. Managed to completely miss that artillery piece because Soviet accuracy. Then again, I can't really complain given one or two of the shots I've had so far this game. Tiger 2 is completely out in the open, and he is getting punished for it. If he dies, that evens up the scoreline. Ditto for this artillery piece. Really want him to die, and there's our second kill. Tiger 2 also dies. That means there are only 4 tanks left on the enemy team. A Super Pershing, a T-44, a 59 pattern, and a Patriot. Well, the Super Pershing, the T-44, and the 59 pattern all have relatively low penetration if, and this of course is the key question, if they decide not to hit the 2 key and fire magical unobtainium bullets through every piece of armour that I have. The Patriot has about 230 pen even with regular ammo, and quite a good rate of fire. And decent enough armour, so he's really, in my mind at the moment, the biggest threat of all these tanks. Last time he was spotted was away in the distance, okay, so we're going to see initially if we can do something about this Super Pershing and the 59 pattern. Someone in there gets a reset, or maybe the enemy have managed to reset themselves, because I didn't see anyone shoot. No, our artillery got in a blinder of a blind shot. That was a very sweet shot. So can I just have a big shout out for, I can't pronounce that name, Zilout Dave in the GW Tiger P there. I'm sorry, but I can't pronounce that. What is his name? Cilout. Sealout? Okay, we're going to go with Sealout. I can't do that. Sealout. Either way, however you pronounce his name, I'm sure it is, but my pronunciation of... Either way, whatever name you want to give him, he put in a blinder of a blind shot there. So, we managed to bounce the 59 pattern, trying to reload to pick up the kill on the aforementioned 59 pattern, and he just sits there and lets me do it, so he is dead. The Patriot kills our Oh-Ho, which is a bit of a problem, and it's chill out apparently. I have been corrected, and we're going for the T-44 here. Trying to pick up the kill on this guy, boom! Kill number 4, he is done. That just leaves a Super Pershing and a Patriot, so the 2 T-26s. At this point I decided to turn around to do something about this Super Pershing. Now, if I were the Super Pershing, I would be doing exactly what he's just done. My base penetration is deeply mediocre, and so I'd be going nuts to it. I actually want to kill this KV-4, and so I'm going to press the 2 key and fire 260 something penetration with APCR. Can't really blame him for doing that. That's exactly the right thing to do in this particular scenario. Yeah, fair enough. I'm not going to have a go at him. So, 3 plays 2, including our artillery. Now, unfortunately, because he has loaded the skill rounds, and I haven't, because apparently I don't know, have some sense of nobility or something, he manages to put a shot just straight through me with barely aiming, and I managed to miss his weak spot there with that first round. Second one goes in, but unfortunately the AT-15 is making a little bit of a meal of this. Aim, 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 and that shot also misses, at which point the Patriot shows up and sets me on fire. AT-15 takes out the Super Pershing, but unfortunately that Patriot has quite a tasty reload and kills me. And is behind the AT-15. Oh dear. And kills the AT-15. And then our artillery lands another shot on the Patriot this time. So now we have a T-26E5 Patriot. And I would like to just point out, this is an entirely Tier 8 match. There are no Tier 10s in this, so the Patriot's armor is pretty decent. He's on 6 kills. We don't know exactly how much damage he's done, but we have to assume that he is no slouch. Versus RGW Tiger P. Now, RGW Tiger P, I've already completely mashed his name up, but had a shout out for because of his awesome blind shot that reset both the tanks in the base and really kept us in this game. And now he has to do it again. Now, at this point, I switched to the GW Tiger P's perspective. So, he takes a blind shot at the base. Hey, it worked last time, why not? But this guy, this GW Tiger P, he's no one's fool. He realises, and our pilot, by the way, is being a very unhelpful idiot, going, oh my god, the artillery's camping, are you a muppet? There's 3 minutes left on this match. The guy was trying to get in a blind shot, and then he's going in. So I really want to have a shout out again for this artillery player. He is not just sitting at the back, waiting. He is moving forward in a GW Tiger P of all things. This is rather a ponderous machine, but every time he's ready to fire, he's trying to get a blind shot on the base. Can't really criticise him too much. He's giving it a go. Unlucky. It worked like a blinder last time. This time, the Patriot isn't having any of it. So, and finally the T-25 shuts up, which is good for everyone involved. This is one of those moments where you just want to let the guy do his thing. RGW Tiger P has already shown that he's not an idiot, he knows what he's doing, and I'm just happy to let him do his thing and to make his own judgment. There's not really anything I can say at this point to really help. Now, the one thing that RGW Tiger P does have on his side is he has a dirty great big gun. So with any luck, it'll only take him one shot to take off the remaining hit points from the Patriot. This is where it's very important that he hit that last shot, because he can realistically finish off the Patriot with one shot. And this is the only bit of advice I give him, the GW Tiger P can take one shot from the Patriot if needed. So he has a little bit of time to aim, and the Patriot rushes and flubs his first shot. And our artillery waits, takes the one shot he can take, aims him fully, and nukes the guy in the face. And carries the match there. In artillery. Beautiful. Very nicely played there. Very nicely played indeed. Let's have a look at the post-game stats for this one. So that was actually enough for my ace tanker in the KV4. Something I was not expecting, because the damage count wasn't that high, and I didn't exactly rack up vast numbers of kills, but whatever. So ace tanker, fire for effect, fighter, spotter, duelist, and bruiser in the KV4. No proper medals, just some little ribbons, but hey, I'm not going to complain. 2,654 damage done, 4 kills, 1,214 base experience is apparently enough to ace the KV4. Fair enough, I ain't complaining. Shoutouts should also go to the friendly T26E5 with 2.4k damage. Nice result from him. The friendly T25 Pilot 1, Vegata 08. On the one hand, he did get a very good result. On the other hand, honestly, in the game, some of the stuff that was coming out of his mouth and that he was typing was just moronic. The enemy T26E5, commiserations to you, sir. 4,000, more than 4,000 damage, 6 kills, not enough quite for the win. And the MVP of that entire match, Zilout. Hopefully I haven't completely butchered that again. Be quiet. Chill out. Whatever. He was awesome. In his GW Tiger P, 3,446 damage done, 1 kill, and importantly, he put the damage in when it counted. He got the base reset in, and he carried the game right at the end when the rest of us had done goofed. So, massive shout out to him. 23 shots fired, 19 hits, 10 penetrations there. With that 2.6k damage done, most of it from point blank range. 19 hits received, 6 penetrations, 13 did not, 1 bit of splash damage, 3.7k blocked by our armour, 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 of them destroyed, 1,247 assistance damage, 2.42 kilometers travelled. Fired 1 round of APCR that match, plus the ammunition on this tank isn't that cheap. So we made a small loss with a standard account there, but I wasn't really too worried about that. More importantly, we managed to get the win out of that game. So there we go. That was a KV4 game for you there. Got one more replay to show you in this particular video. Here we are then for the last replay this match. So we've had one game where I just kind of derp around and get lucky to pull out the win. We've had one game where it wasn't really about me. I had a decent match, but it was really about our artillery player there stepping up to the mark and pulling it out the bag when needed. And now we're going to have the last game, and this is a game where I think I actually played alright. I think I did fairly well in this one. So, I'm driving the T28 prototype. For anyone who hasn't seen my review of this tank yet, feel free, if you want, to have my full thoughts on this machine. Long story short, I actually rather like it. It's not perfect, it has its flaws, but I actually find it quite a lot of fun. You have a turret, you have a good gun, you have some armour. Your only real weakness is that your mobility is not fantastic. Also, for a tier 8, your hit points are rather on the low side, to be fair. Anyway, so tier 9 match here on Lakefield. Not my favourite map in the world, not my least favourite. We'll see how it goes. We have driven ourselves in towards the town here, because screw going to the other side of the map, especially in this tank. We hit the IS-3, but we bounce. Now, we shouldn't complain too much. This gun is good, but accurate, it is not. The The accuracy on this gun could at best be described as mediocre. Trying for another shot though, because why the hell not? Hello, Mr. IS-3. That one takes out his tracks. At least we get some assistance damage, and he dies. So the T-28 prototype, you really end up wanting to play this thing, in my opinion, like a heavy tank that doesn't have many hit points, but does have a really punchy gun. 400 alpha and 250 pen at tier 8 forgive an awful lot of sins, especially when you fire around every 8.5 seconds. It can be quite a punishing gun. And with a turret that, okay, it's not technically a fully rotating turret, but it goes most of the way around the tank. So, we've come over here to the town. Tier 9 match, if I haven't already said that, can't remember. I'm getting tired. I've been up quite a long time today. And we are going towards the sort of churchy thing in the middle of the town. Like I said, trying to kind of play this thing a bit like a heavy tank and do some damage where we can. Would have been nice if I could have got a shot on the AMX 5100, but alas, I am not so lucky. Pushing into the town then, our team is 2 tanks up, killed the IS-3 and a WZ-132A, so that's a pretty good start. This is a standard match, of course. So, on the one hand, I don't think the Valley is particularly important. Hello, Mr. IS-6. On the other hand, we do need to make sure our team defend it. Now, IS-6 is a pretty good tank for this thing to face. Even with premium ammunition, if you angle the front of your tank a bit, this guy really lacks the penetration to effectively go through you. And the same is certainly not true the other way round. And he is dead. We took out his tracks as well for some assistance damage into the bargain, which is nice. So pushing around this corner then, not afraid to lead the way. We may only have 200mm of frontal armour without much angling on it, but if you're able to put a bit of angling on it yourself, that can still be pretty respectable. And I'm still aiming for weak spots because why on earth wouldn't you? Just to make sure that you do penetrate. Hello, Mr. Lerva, my rate of fire is going to beat the ever-loving stuffing out of yours, and you are dead. RU-251 and a Scorpion G both off to the right-hand side. Now, my logic here is we've got quite a lot of tanks who are in the vicinity of our base, so let's just push into these guys, let's kill them. Then I might go back to base if it turns out that I have to. Managed to bounce the M103, also managed to miss the M103, but swings and roundabouts. And repair our gun that gets taken out. So pushing in at this point, hello Mr. RU-251, we also miss him. Remember what I said about the accuracy on this gun? It's not fantastic, but 7-3, still pushing, we're going to do this. Hello Mr. M103, ow, I take a shot in the flank from a Panther 2. I pushed forward knowing that I might take flanking shots from that central location, although I was expecting it to be the Pershing rather than the Panther, but whatever. Only tracked the M103 with that shot, which is kind of unfortunate. M103 is looking this way, but M103 also has a pretty trashy turret and hull. If you hit him in the right place, which the upper front plate angled back like that is not. I was hoping that would go in the lower front plate, but whatever. Never mind. So we're up to about 2,000 damage done so far, with about 1900 assistance damage and some damage blocked by our armour. So far, we're having a fairly respectable game. And we're not having any of this sitting at the back of the map nonsense. Unfortunately, we have lost our AMX 5120, which is a little bit annoying. But, you know, c'est la vie. As a top-tier tank, having died, and we lost our Waffle Thrower and our RU-251. There aren't any tier 7s in this match, so I am, quote-unquote, bottom tier. Taking advantage of the M103's garbage roof armour there to put in a couple of shots. His shot just takes out our rangefinder, doesn't actually do any hit points of damage. Which is nice for us, and we managed to put one into the AMX 5100. We take one in return, but we track him in place, and he gets obliterated. There we go. We've only got 1 kill so far, but we've got a good amount of damage, got assistance damage, and we have been instrumental in lots and lots of tanks dying, which is kind of what you want. However, the enemy RU-251 has kind of gone up behind us, and the Centurion 7-1 is beating the tar out of our IS-3. And the scoreline, whilst not bad, it's not really as good as it once was. Hello, Mr. RU. Yeah, if I'd hit that shot earlier on into him, he would now be dead. Alas, I didn't, so he's not. And now I'm all alone. Well, poo. This is slightly unfortunate. So, I think the central line has been cleared out. Never mind, there's still that Panther 2 there. This is a bad, bad situation. Take a hit from the Centurion 7-1, put a shot into that Centurion 7-1, and then, unfortunately, I die. So, I was perhaps a little bit overly optimistic in pushing there, I guess. But I thought we had it, and I thought we had enough tanks left toward the base to, well, defend our base. And I guess overextending, I think perhaps I overextended there. I thought the tanks around us would perhaps do better than they did, which is a little bit of a shame. I also put a little bit too much faith in our base defenders, as you're going to see, which is a problem. So in terms of a sort of micromanagement-y level, I thought I played the tank itself fine. But in terms of a kind of grand scale sort of level, maybe not. Then again, had I gone back to defend our base, I'm pretty sure the rest of my team members around me would have kept pushing forwards and probably still died. And possibly for having achieved less in return. So, I don't know. It's one of those awkward situations that you end up having to toss up one way or the other. That's a little bit unfortunate. Anyway, we'll see what happens. We've got an AMX 1390, a Defender, a Tiger 2 and a Scorpion G remaining. What's concerning me is the hit point pool distribution between them and the fact that there's a Type 4 Heavy who was last spotted over in the valley, and he was last spotted over in the valley a long, long time ago. He's got 2 kills and he still ain't dead. I do find this a little worrisome. I'm also concerned by the fact that our Tiger 2 is rather isolated and a lot of people could kill him in 1 or 2 shots. He's now found the RU-251, or rather the RU-251 has found him, and I'm not being filled with warm fuzzies at this point, I must be honest. I mean, when I played this, I was fairly happy with my own performance. I thought I'd done fairly well. Certainly of the 3 replays I'm showing you here, I think it was probably my best performance of those 3. Tiger 2 gets lucky and bounces that shot. Managed to turn his turret back kind of just in the nick. But doesn't get a shot on the RU for his troubles. And we've kind of got a stalemate going on. Now that Type 4 is a problem. In the shape of the Scorpion, we do have the firepower to go through him. But, well, yeah. The longer this Tiger 2 just sits here, the more likely it is that someone else is going to join the RU-251, possibly the Centurion, and between them they're just going to tag team him to death. There's the Type 4 I was mentioning earlier on. 203 hit points remaining, not a lot of health, but he's currently occupying the attention of half of our remaining teammates. Which means the rest of the fight is effectively, we don't know where they are, but the rest of the fight is potentially 2 versus 1 in their favour, which is a bit worrying. Yeah. Oh dear. So, I'm hoping that my kind of spider sense is wrong here. I'm hoping it's very wrong, and I'm hoping we're going to pull this out of the bag. AMX 1390 has 2 marks of excellence, so he's presumably no slouch. He's spotted out the Panther 2. Panther 2 is taking a bit of a pasting now, and our Tiger 2 is dead. Oh, well, it's going to happen at some point, I guess. AMX 1390 manages to finish off the Panther 2, which is nice. Takes 1 hit for it, but it was probably worth it just to take that guy out. Unfortunately, he then reverses up the slope, which is a terrible idea because, as with all French tanks with that sort of oscillating turret design, their gun elevation is woeful, and it's such a shame because that 1390, having killed the Panther, then basically just threw his tank away, which is a shame. So much for those 2 marks of excellence. Defender is still a... Never mind. And then there was the Scorpion on 109 hit points versus 4 enemies. Oh dear. Yeah, and there was a kind of a sense of inevitability to that at the end. 6 kills for the RU-251, so shout out for him. Oh, let's have a look at the results for this one, as depressing as they may well be. So, last game of this video then, unfortunately it wasn't a win. Massive shame, but there we go. It was the game of the 3 that I was the most proud of, even if it wasn't a win. Ace Tanker, Fire for Effect, Bruiser, and a high caliber medal for my T28 prototype there. 4,755 damage done, 1 kill, 965 base XP. Remember, that is without heroic resistance thrown in. Heroic resistance is on top of that, which is what secured my ace. It's not very often you do 4.7, 4.8k damage in a tier 8 and it's not enough to win, and it's not very often you do that much damage and only get 1 kill out of it, but never mind. Let's not worry too much about that. Shoutouts should go to kind of the top 4 players on the enemy team who really carried that match for their team. Rush Tank 009 in his RU251, 2.7k damage and 6 kills. Stalker 1983 in his Type 4 Heavy, 4k damage and 2 kills. Aaron 9000 in his Centurion 71, 3.1k damage and 4 kills. All 3 of those got more than 1000 base experience. Very well done to them. And additionally, oh, not another name like that, Sibki 1984 in his Panther 2, 3.2k damage, only the 1 kill, but a very nice bit of fire support. Sabiki, okay, very nice bit of fire support there from the central road on the map, and he came in at 927 base experience. Well done to those 4 players. Just overall, their team was a little bit more consistent than ours was. I mean, I did 4.8, 4.7, 4.8k damage. Our AMX 1390, he flubbed it at the end, but still, 3k damage from him, 2 kills, none too shabby. Yeah, apart from that, no particularly outstanding performances, certainly not statistically, but there we go. Just one of those things. 19 shots fired, 17 hits, 12 penetrations for that damage count. Most of it was from basically point blank range. 11 hits received, 5 penetrated, 6 did not. 1720 damage blocked by our armor. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 7 damaged, 1 destroyed, 2.1k damage assistance, and 1.53 kilometers traveled. We were running a premium account at the time, so that was just shy of a 42,000 credit profit even on a defeat. Even with a standard account, that would have been just shy of an 18,000 credit profit, which isn't too bad at all. 965 base experience plus 527 for heroic resistance gave us 1,492 experience when it comes to working out ace tankers and whatnot. And of course we were running a premium account at the time, so once you throw all the different bonuses in and running personal reserves and everything, we actually managed to get over 4,700, in fact just shy of 4,000, no, over 4,800, sorry, experience there even on a defeat. So I was quite happy with that result, even if we weren't able to get a win in the end. C'est la vie. I gave it my best. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that trio of replays from me there. If you did, then by all means feel free to catch some of my other videos and or subscribe to my channel. And as ever, I wish you very happy hunting on that battlefield. Ciao, ciao.